The bone was bad, but their response was worse. I don't usually complain about restaurant service. I worked in restaurants for about 10 years, so I know mistakes happen. Food gets sent out wrong, orders get mixed up, and sometimes things happen that aren't necessarily the server's fault. But this was one of those situations where the actual mistake wasn't even what bothered me the most. My partner and I were eating at a restaurant, and I ordered smoked pork hash. Everything was fine until I bit down really hard on something solid. I pulled it out of my mouth and realized it was a piece of bone, about an inch across. It hurt my back molar enough that I immediately stopped eating. We showed the bone to our server and explained what happened. She said she'd take it to the kitchen and walked away. At that point, we weren't even angry. We figured someone would come back, tell us what the kitchen said, and maybe offer to remake the meal, or at least apologize. Instead, about 5 minutes later, she came back with our bill in the payment machine. We hadn't asked for the bill. She didn't tell us what the kitchen said, didn't apologize, and didn't offer to remake anything. She just stood there with the payment machine while I looked over the bill. I felt awkward and put on the spot, so I paid and left an 18% tip, which was the lowest option on the machine besides entering a custom amount. After I had already paid, my partner asked her what happened with the bone, because we still hadn't gotten an answer. She said, "Bones happen. They're a risk with some meals." My partner asked if they could at least remake the meal or do something about it. She walked away and never came back. At this point, we were pretty confused, so we asked for the manager. The manager offered us $5 off the meal. My partner explained that I couldn't finish it because of the bone and had only eaten about 2/3. The manager looked at the plate and said, "Well, it looked pretty done to me." That honestly made the situation worse. I wasn't asking for a free meal. I wasn't even blaming the restaurant for the bone getting into the food. I had worked in restaurants long enough to understand that mistakes happen in kitchens. What I expected was just some basic customer service after I literally hurt my tooth eating their food. We decided to ask if the tip could be removed. When the bill was adjusted with the $5 discount, the tip wasn't refunded. We pointed that out, and the manager pushed back. She asked, "Well, did she do a bad job?" We explained that regardless of whether the server was responsible for the bone, we no longer wanted to leave the gratuity after the way the situation had been handled. The manager became visibly frustrated and eventually slapped a $10 bill on the counter, apparently as an estimate of what the tip had been. And that's what really got me. If the server had come back and said, "I'm really sorry. The kitchen says it was probably a bone fragment from the pork. Would you like us to remake the dish?" I probably would have been completely fine. I would have eaten something else, paid the bill, and left the tip. Instead, we had to chase someone down for an explanation, then ask for a manager. And even after all of that, it felt like we were being treated as if we were unreasonable for being upset. So now I'm wondering what other people would have done.